Hello, English learners. Welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're back bringing you another great lesson, an intermediate lesson.
That's right, about one of my favorite subjects.
We're talking about food.
Exactly.
So on this occasion, we're going to be talking about food. So let's preview some words on Vocabulary Preview.
Vocabulary Preview.
All right, we have 3 words for you today. And the first word is head chef.
Head chef.
Head chef.
So what is a head chef?
Well, in a professional kitchen, this is the boss of the kitchen or the leader of the kitchen.
Okay, so the head chef is the main cook,
Yes,
so to
but
say.
he doesn't cook.
But he doesn't cook.
Okay.
All right, so if he doesn't cook, who's the one that does the cooking?
That brings us to our second word, sous chef.
Sous chef.
Sous chef.
Sous chef.
S-O-U-S.
So the S is silent because it's like a French word.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So the sous chef is the second in line to the head chef.
Yeah, he's the number 2.
Number 2. So he's basically the one that's doing some of the work
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Yep.
Now let's take a look at our last word, cuisine.
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 So this is an interesting word. What exactly does it mean?
Well, it basically means cooking, right?
Okay.
Like the art of cooking.
So for example, I can say French food,
Yep. Or French cuisine.
French cuisine, which includes all the food.
Yep.
And this is also the major that people study in college to become
Yes.
a chef.
Yep.
You study
Yep.
cuisine.
And cuisine is a noun, right?
It's a noun. Okay, so I think we're ready to dive into our dialogue. What exactly is going on?
Well, we're in a restaurant and it's a really busy night. And so we're going to listen to what is happening in the kitchen.
Right away, sir. Your order will be ready shortly. Jean-Pierre, we have another special for table 7.
I'm working as fast as I can. We are really in the weeds. Where is my sous chef? Luc, I need you to peel more potatoes. Marie, chop some onions and carrots for the stew. Ah, c'est pas possible, j'ai vraiment une galère ici, ça n'arrive jamais.
Jean-Pierre, another special. We're really packed tonight. We're running low on wine. Is there any left in the cellar?
Ooh, sorry I'm late, everyone. Wow, we're really doing well tonight.
Harry, stop talking and get over here. I need some sauce tiered and the fish needs to be butchered and buttered.
Okay, I'm on it.
Jean-Pierre, table 7 has requested to see the chef. I think they're food critics from Cuisine Magazine.
Okay, so a busy night here at this restaurant.
I know. It sounds like there's a lot of pressure on this chef, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, you can tell in his voice that he's really stressed out.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a look at some of this kitchen vocabulary that we found in Language Takeaway.
Language Takeaway.
All right. Well, we've got 5 words for you today. And the first one is peel.
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 P-E-E-L.
So this is a verb, and it means to...
Remove the outside skin.
Okay, so for example, when you're gonna eat a banana,
You must peel it first.
you must peel it. You gotta
Yep.
take away the yellow skin. What else do you peel? Oranges, potatoes.
Potatoes, like in the dialogue. What else can you peel? I don't know. Carrots.
Carrots.
Yeah.
Some people peel their tomatoes. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
All right, now let's take a look at our next word. Chop.
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 So again, another verb, and it means to.
It means to cut food into pieces.
Oh, so if you're gonna eat carrots, first you gotta chop them,
Exactly.
right? You can't put a whole carrot in
In your soup.
your soup or in
No.
your rice.
Yeah.
Okay, chop. Okay, our next word, stirred.
Yeah, this is the past participle of the word stir.
Okay, so the verb stir.
Stir.
So when you stir something,
Imagine you have a big pot. And you've got a long spoon. You move the spoon around in circles. So
Okay.
you're stirring the pot.
you're mixing. To stir is very similar to mix.
Yes.
Okay,
So you just move the food around.
move the food around.
Yep.
Okay, our next word, butchered.
Again, the past participle of the verb butcher.
Okay, butcher.
Butcher.
Now, this verb to butcher something, it's when you remove all the bones and all the organs from the meat.
Exactly. So you cut up the meat.
And this is interesting because it's also a noun.
Right. A butcher is a person who cuts up meat.
Okay, so it's really easy. A butcher butchers meat.
Yes.
All right, our last word, butter.
Buttered.
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 Okay, so buttered, this is weird.
I know. Normally, we all know the noun butter, but here it's acting as a verb.
Okay.
So when you butter something, you spread or put butter on it.
Okay.
Simple.
So to put butter on something. So you can
Yep.
butter a piece of bread,
Exactly.
or in this case, the fish is being buttered. Sounds delicious. Okay, now we're ready to listen to our dialogue for the second time. We're going to slow it down a little bit so it's easier to understand.
Right away, sir. Your order will be ready shortly. Jean-Pierre, we have another special for table 7.
I'm working as fast as I can. We are really in the weeds. Where is my sous chef? Luc, I need you to peel more potatoes. Marie, chop some onions and carrots for the stew. Oh, c'est pas possible, j'en ai marre, moi.
Jean-Pierre, another special. We're really packed tonight. We're running low on wine. Is there any left in the cellar?
Whoa, sorry I'm late, everyone. Wow, we are really doing well tonight.
Harry, stop talking and come over here. I need this sauce stirred, and the fish needs to be butchered and buttered.
Okay, I'm on it.
Jean-Pierre, table 7 has requested to see the chef. I think they are food critics from Cuisine Magazine.
Okay, so that seems to be a little bit better.
And hey, I noticed that there's a lot of really great kitchen words in here, like words that you commonly hear in a professional kitchen.
Okay, so let's take a look at these kitchen words in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
All right, we've got 3 phrases. And the first one is in the weeds.
In the weeds.
In the weeds.
In the weeds.
So when you're in the weeds, you're so busy and you can't do all the work you need to do on time.
Okay, so in the weeds, it means that you're really busy.
Yes.
And
You can't finish everything.
you have too much to do.
Yep.
Okay, in the weeds. Okay, our next word, running low on.
Running low on.
Running low on.
Running low on.
Okay, so before we get into explaining what running low on means, let's listen to some examples.
Example 1.
You better look for a gas station. We're running low on fuel.
Example 2.
We're running low on beers. Can you go out and get some?
Example 3.
My flashlight is running low on battery. Hurry up before it gets dark.
So basically, running low means
You don't have much of this left.
you don't have much of something left.
Yeah. So here they're running low on wine. So basically,
There's not much wine left.
right.
So as we heard in the examples, you could also be running low on fuel, for example, on your car,
Yep.
etc. Running low on. All right, and now let's take a look at our last word. Doing really well.
Doing really well.
We are doing really well.
Doing really well. So this seems to be like a pretty simple structure. I mean, we know all these words, right? So why is it special?
Well, basically, if you say I am doing really well, maybe it sounds a little bit difficult to understand. What are you doing really well? So this is a great way of answering a question. When somebody says, how are you? Or how are you doing? You can say, oh, I'm doing really well.
So
or I'm doing well.
in your life, everything is good.
In your life, things are good and you're happy, basically.
Yeah. But in this situation, in the dialogue, what's doing really well?
Well, the restaurant is doing really well. The business is doing really well.
So when he says we're doing really well, business is
Good.
good. They're making lots of money.
Exactly. So you can use it with people, you can use it with businesses. You can say, oh, I'm doing really well in my new job.
Yep.
Or my son is doing really well in school.
Yep.
Okay, so you can use it in those different ways.
All right, well, let's listen to the dialogue one last time, and we'll be able to hear all of these great words and phrases we just talked about.
Right away, sir. Your order will be ready shortly. Jean-Pierre, we have another special for table 7.
I'm working as fast as I can. We are really in the weeds. Where is my sous chef? Luc, I need you to peel more potatoes. Marie, chop some onions and carrots for the stew. Ah, c'est pas possible, j'ai vraiment une galère ici, ça n'arrivera jamais.
Jean-Pierre, another special. We're really packed tonight. We're running low on wine. Is there any left in the cellar?
Ooh, sorry I'm late, everyone. Wow, we're really doing well tonight.
Harry, stop talking and get over here. I need some sauce tiered and the fish needs to be butchered and buttered.
Okay, I'm on it.
Jean-Pierre, table 7 has requested to see the chef. I think they are food critics from Cuisine Magazine.
So, Marco, do you think this chef had a rat under his hat?
That was a really good movie,
Yeah.
Ratatouille, that
Yeah.
Disney Pixar, where a rat is a cook.
Yes.
It's interesting. I love to cook, but I'm not very good at cooking.
Really?
But it's good because for me, it helps me relieve stress.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in a bad mood, I go home and cook something to eat, and the world seems a happier place.
And people don't understand it because they think cooking is work.
Yep.
But, you know, for some people, it's fun.
Yeah.
So what about you guys? What do you like to cook? Do you have any particular dish that you prepare very well?
And if you do, please send us the recipes.
Exactly, because we know that we have listeners from all over the world. And of course, we want to know what type of food you prefer.
My name is David. I didn't find English in books. I found it in the heat, the noise, and the heart of a kitchen. When I was younger, I never thought I would end up working in a kitchen. I always imagined myself sitting in an office, maybe typing reports or answering phones. But life is funny sometimes. It takes you where you least expect. My journey into the world of cooking started the day I walked past a small Italian restaurant in my city. The smell coming from that place, it was magical. Garlic, tomatoes, fresh bread. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I walked in and asked for a job. They didn't have anything fancy for me at first. I was the dishwasher. But I watched. I listened. Every night, I stood near the big kitchen doors, watching the chefs work. The head chef was a tall, serious man who rarely smiled. He didn't cook much, but he controlled everything like a boss. He was always giving orders. Boil the pasta. Chop the onions. Plate that now. Then there was the sous chef, second in command. He was fast, always moving. I learned a lot just from watching him stir sauces, butter fish, and yell, "We're in the weeds," when the orders were too many. That phrase made me smile the first time I heard it. I thought, what weeds? But later, I understood. It means things are crazy busy, like you're stuck in a jungle and can't get out. One night, the sous chef called in sick, and the head chef looked straight at me. Can you peel potatoes? My hand shook. Yes, sir, I said, though I'd never peeled one in my life. I ran to the sink, grabbed a peeler, and started. That night, I peeled, chopped, stirred, and even buttered a piece of salmon. I made mistakes, yes. I burned my fingers. I cut the onions wrong. But I also learned more in those 4 hours than I had in 4 months of just watching. From that moment, something inside me changed. Cooking wasn't just about food. It was about timing, teamwork, stress, joy, and even love. In the middle of the fire and pressure, there was something beautiful. You give people something warm, something tasty, something they remember. And so my real journey began. The next day, I arrived early, hoping the head chef would remember me. I cleaned the counters twice, arranged the pans in perfect rows, and stood by, waiting. Just before the dinner rush, he nodded toward a pile of carrots and said, "Chop those, small pieces." No hello, no thank you, just the order. But I was thrilled. That simple task meant trust. I picked up a knife, nervous but excited. The sous chef, now back, glanced at me and smirked. "Careful," he said. "Fingers are more important than food." That was my first kitchen joke. I smiled and started chopping. My cuts weren't even, and I was slow, but I did my best. As I worked, I began to learn something very important. Speed comes with confidence, and confidence comes with practice. That's true in the kitchen, and in language learning too. In the middle of all the slicing and shouting, I heard someone yell, "We're running low on wine." Another expression to remember. Running low on means we don't have much left. Useful in many situations. For example, you can say, "I'm running low on battery," or "We're running low on time." That phrase became part of my everyday kitchen talk. As the evening moved on, the orders came flying in. Table 4 wanted fish. Table 9 wanted chicken with butter sauce. Table 2 had a food allergy and needed something special. The pressure grew, but so did my focus. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. Then came a surprise. "Can you stir the soup?" the sous chef asked. I nodded quickly, grabbed the big spoon, and stirred. Slowly, in circles, just like I'd seen on TV cooking shows. "Not bad," he said. "Don't burn it." Stirring might sound easy, but it takes rhythm. Too fast and you spill. Too slow and the food sticks. Everything in the kitchen teaches you something. Even simple words become powerful when you live them. Peel becomes more than a verb. It becomes a test of patience. Chop becomes a challenge of precision. Butcher teaches control and care. And butter, yes, even that, is a gentle, final touch that turns something dry into something rich and flavorful. That night, I went home with sore feet and onion smell on my clothes, but I also felt proud. I was no longer just the dishwasher. I was now a small part of the kitchen family, slowly learning the language of food. One verb, one skill, one dish at a time. As the days passed, I became faster, sharper, and more confident. I learned how to set up my station before the rush. My knives lined up, vegetables washed, cutting board ready. Mise en place, they called it in the kitchen. It's a French term that means everything in its place. And believe me, without it, you can't survive a busy dinner shift. One Friday evening, the restaurant was packed. People were waiting outside, and inside, the kitchen felt like a storm. Orders were flying in. The head chef called out, "Special for table 7. Who's got it?" The sous chef shouted, "We're in the weeds." Everyone moved like dancers, fast and focused. I was slicing onions when Marie, the pastry cook, slipped on a wet spot and dropped her tray of desserts. She looked up, panicked. The head chef snapped, "Leave it. We need carrots and onions for the stew." Without thinking, I moved over, grabbed the carrots, and started chopping, fast and even. "Nice cuts," the sous chef said. That was the first compliment I ever got from him. Later that night, I got my next big lesson. The head chef looked at me and said, "Go butcher the fish." I froze. I'd watched it being done, but I'd never actually tried it. I nodded and walked over to the fish. It was large, silver, and cold. I remembered the steps: cut behind the gills, slide the knife along the spine, remove the bones. Slowly, carefully, I did it. Was it perfect? No. But it was clean, and the chef said, "Acceptable." After that, I buttered the fish. Just a thin layer over the top, using a brush. A little bit of butter brings out flavor and color. It's a simple step, but an important one. It taught me something. Little actions matter. Whether it's adding butter to a dish or adding a kind word to someone's day, small things make a big difference. That night, I also learned another new phrase, "on the fly." It means quickly, right now, as fast as possible. When someone yells, "I need that sauce on the fly," it means you'd better move fast. I had to make a salad on the fly for a VIP guest, and I did it in under a minute. In the kitchen, you don't have time to think twice. You act. You learn. You listen. That's what helped me grow, not just as a cook, but as a person. I wasn't only learning recipes. I was learning teamwork, discipline, and language, the real language of working people. And I began to understand something even deeper. Cooking is communication. It's how we show care, creativity, and culture. Each dish tells a story, and each moment in the kitchen adds a new word to your vocabulary, both in food and in life. One day, a famous food critic was coming to dine at our restaurant. Everyone in the kitchen knew it. You could feel the tension in the air, like electricity. The head chef walked in early, silent as usual, but his eyes were sharp. He pointed at me and said, "You're on prep. Don't mess it up." That was his way of saying he trusted me. I began with the vegetables, peeling potatoes, chopping carrots, washing herbs. I had learned to work fast but clean. In the kitchen, speed is important, but accuracy is everything. One wrong cut can ruin the dish. I remembered how nervous I used to be, but that day, my hands moved with confidence. I didn't even notice the noise around me anymore. It felt like I was in my own world. Just before service started, the sous chef came over. "We're running low on basil," he said. "Can you grab some from the cellar?" I ran downstairs, opened the herb box, and filled a small basket. While coming back up, I smiled. Running low on had become one of my favorite kitchen phrases. You can use it anywhere in life. We're running low on time, I'm running low on cash, or even my phone's running low on battery. It's such a useful expression. When the doors opened and customers started arriving, the pressure exploded. Orders came one after another. 2 steak mediums, 1 vegetarian pasta, and the chef special, the server shouted. Table 9 wants extra butter. Table 3 wants to speak to the chef. The sous chef shouted, "We're in the weeds again." It felt like a war zone, but an organized one. I was stirring a big pot of creamy mushroom sauce when I smelled something burning. I turned around. Someone had left the bread in the oven too long. The head chef walked over, looked at the blackened loaves, and didn't say a word. He just shook his head and took them out himself. That moment taught me, real leaders speak with action more than words. Later in the evening, I was asked to plate a dish. Not cook it, just arrange it nicely on the plate. Sounds easy? It's not. It's an art. You have to think about balance, color, shape, texture. I placed the sautéed vegetables first, then the grilled chicken, and finally drizzled a little sauce across the top. I stepped back, looked at the plate, and felt proud. For the first time, I had put my hands on something that would go directly to the customer. As the night ended, the head chef called me over. "Not bad," he said. Just 2 words. But coming from him, it felt like a long speech. That simple "not bad" was fuel for my spirit. I knew I still had so much to learn, but I also knew I was on the right path. Working in a kitchen had become more than just a job. It was my classroom, my gym, my adventure. I was learning English without books, grammar through real talk, and life lessons with every slice, stir, and sauté. And little by little, I was becoming someone new. The next week, something unexpected happened. One of the line cooks called in sick just before dinner service. The sous chef looked around and said, "We need a replacement now." His eyes landed on me. "You're in." My heart raced. I had been preparing ingredients, plating food, and helping here and there, but this was different. Now, I was going to cook live orders. I tied my apron tighter, washed my hands again, and stood in front of the stove. My station had a hot pan, a tray of marinated chicken, fresh vegetables, and a bowl of sauce. The ticket printer clicked, and the first order came. Grilled chicken with steamed broccoli and garlic sauce. I took a deep breath and got to work. Cooking during service is like performing on stage. There's no time to doubt yourself. You have to move fast, talk less, and think clearly. I placed the chicken on the hot pan. It sizzled loudly. Then I stirred the sauce, watching carefully so it wouldn't burn. In the kitchen, timing is everything. If the chicken is ready but the sauce isn't, the whole plate fails. Just like in life, all the parts must work together. I called out, "Chicken ready, broccoli 2 minutes." It felt strange to hear my voice among the others, but also exciting. I was speaking their language, now kitchen English. Simple, clear, direct. Hot behind means you're walking behind someone with hot food. Corner means you're turning a corner so no one crashes into you. These aren't words you learn in a classroom, but they're gold in a real kitchen. Suddenly, the sous chef shouted, "We need that pasta on the fly." I reacted quickly, tossing the noodles into boiling water. "On the fly" became one of my favorite phrases. It means you need something right now, with no delay. You can use it anywhere. "Can you print this on the fly?" Or, "We need a decision on the fly." It's fast and powerful. The pressure built up. At one point, my sauce spilled a little, and I had to wipe it and start over. My hands were tired, and my shirt was soaked in sweat. But I didn't stop. I remembered a phrase the head chef once said, "You're not here to be perfect. You're here to get better. By the end of shift, I had cooked 8 dishes, made 2 mistakes, and earned a silent nod from the head chef. That nod meant everything. It wasn't loud applause, but it was real respect. That night, walking home, I didn't feel like a beginner anymore. I felt like a cook, still learning, still growing, but part of something bigger. And with each new word, each challenge, I was also becoming a better English speaker. Not through books or lessons, but through living a language, feeling it in real situations, and using it to survive, to succeed, and to connect. In that noisy kitchen filled with smoke, fire, and shouting, I had found my voice. One rainy afternoon, something happened that changed how I saw my job completely. A group of guests arrived for a private dinner, people from a cooking school. They were students learning how to become chefs. The head chef decided we would prepare a special menu just for them. It was a chance to impress not just regular customers, but future professionals. The kitchen was quiet at first, everyone focused. I was assigned the appetizer station. My task was to prepare a mushroom risotto with a drizzle of herb oil. Risotto is tricky. It needs constant attention. You can't leave it alone for a second. You have to stir it slowly, adding broth little by little until it becomes creamy and smooth. Stirring is more than just a motion. It's a rhythm. It's a conversation between you and the food. As I stirred the rice, the sous chef leaned in and said, "Make sure it's silky, not sticky." That was a new word for me, silky. It means smooth and soft, like the feel of silk. A great word to describe good risotto, but also useful when talking about clothes, hair, or even a voice. Learning English through cooking gave every word flavor and meaning. The guests were seated, and the plates began going out. The head chef was watching everything closely. "That garnish is off-center," he said to one cook. "Wipe the plate," he told another. He didn't yell, but his voice had weight. When it was my turn to present a dish, I carefully placed the risotto, added the mushrooms, and drizzled the green oil in a small spiral. "Beautiful," said the sous chef. Later, I heard one of the cooking school students ask, "Who made this risotto?" A server pointed at me. The student smiled and said, "It's perfect." That one word, perfect, stayed with me all day. I had never been called that in the kitchen before. It was a small moment, but for me it was huge. After the dinner, the head chef gathered us around. "Good work tonight," he said. "Some of you showed real potential." He didn't say names. He didn't have to. We all knew who he meant. And even if he didn't mean me, I decided something that night. I would keep going, no matter how hard it got. Working in a kitchen teaches more than recipes. It teaches discipline, teamwork, timing, and also vocabulary. I learned what it means to peel away not just the skin of a potato, but layers of fear. I learned that to chop through doubt, you have to stay focused. And I learned that to butter something isn't just about taste, it's about care. Every shift gave me new English words to use, new phrases to remember, and new confidence to speak. I wasn't just building my skills as a cook, I was building my language, my personality, and my future. And for the first time in my life, I saw a clear path forward. One plate, one word, one step at a time. Winter came, and the restaurant stayed just as busy. Holidays meant more reservations, more special dishes, and more pressure. But for me, something had shifted. I was no longer nervous. I was focused. Every time I stepped into the kitchen, I felt like I was walking into a familiar world. I knew the sounds, the smells, and the rhythm of it all. One evening, the sous chef called in sick again. This time, the head chef didn't hesitate. "You take the lead tonight," he said. "Watch the timing. Don't let the team fall behind." I looked around at the others. Some had been there longer than me, but no one questioned the decision. I wasn't just helping anymore. I was leading. That night, I had to give instructions. "Marie, chop those onions finely. Luis, peel the potatoes and get them boiling. Sam, stir that sauce slowly. Don't let it burn." It felt strange at first, giving orders. But I used the words I had learned from listening to the others. Simple, clear, direct. The same English phrases that once confused me were now part of how I led a team. At one point, the printer spat out 5 orders at once. "We're in the weeds," I shouted, just like the sous chef used to. But I didn't panic. I assigned tasks quickly. We moved as one. The line was hot, the plates were flying out, and I kept the energy steady. That night I understood a new lesson. Leadership doesn't mean being loud. It means staying calm when everything around you is chaos. Halfway through the shift, the wine runner came in and whispered, "We're running low on red wine." I smiled. I knew exactly what to do. I asked someone to check the cellar, made a quick change to the menu, and kept things moving. Another real-life use for another everyday phrase. After service, the team looked tired but proud. The head chef walked over to me, arms crossed. "You kept things under control," he said. "That's what a real chef does." I didn't say anything. I just nodded. I didn't need many words. Sometimes the kitchen teaches you that action speaks louder than language. But if you have both, you're unstoppable. When I walked home that night, snow was falling. I thought about how far I'd come, not just from dishwasher to cook, but from struggling with English to using it as a tool of leadership. Every phrase I had once repeated quietly to myself was now part of how I worked, how I taught, and how I connected with others. The kitchen had become more than just a place to cook. It was my English school, my challenge, and my mirror. And I realized once you find something you love, language stops being a barrier. It becomes a bridge. One you build word by word, with every step you take forward. Spring arrived, and with it came fresh ingredients, new customers, and a surprise I never expected. One afternoon, the restaurant owner called me into his office. I wiped my hands nervously, still smelling like garlic and onions, and stepped inside. "You've been doing great work," he said. "We're opening a second location next month. I want you to be the sous chef there." For a moment, I couldn't speak. Me? The dishwasher who didn't know how to peel a potato a year ago? The person who barely understood kitchen English, now being trusted to help run a whole new restaurant? I thanked him, of course, but after leaving the office, I just sat down in the alley behind the kitchen. My heart was racing, but in the best way. I thought about all the phrases I had learned right away in the weeds, running low on the fly. They weren't just kitchen slang anymore. They were part of me. They were signs of everything I had pushed through to reach this moment. In the weeks that followed, I helped train new staff. I taught them how to chop properly, how to stir without rushing, how to plate food with care. I even explained how to give instructions clearly, using the same simple, powerful English I had learned on the job. I realized that teaching helped me speak better too. Every time I explained a word or phrase, it became stronger in my own mind. Sometimes a trainee would ask, "Why do we butter the fish?" I'd smile and answer, "Because it makes it richer, just like using the right word makes your English stronger." I didn't just cook now. I connected. I motivated. I shared what I had learned, not only about food, but about learning, about confidence, about growth. On opening night at the new restaurant, I stood near the kitchen pass, watching the plates go out. Everything was moving smoothly. The team worked like a family. No panic, no chaos, just energy, rhythm, and care. I stirred a pot of soup and thought about how much life is like cooking. You take raw ingredients, words, moments, dreams, and with time, fire, and focus, you turn them into something beautiful. Looking around that kitchen, I saw myself in each new cook, nervous but excited, afraid to fail, but brave enough to try. And I understood something deeply important. Learning is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about trying again, speaking even when you're unsure, and stirring the pot even if your hand shakes a little.
My name is Lena, and this is how my journey in the kitchen began. I still remember my first day working in a real restaurant. I was nervous and excited at the same time. The place was small, but it was full of life, color, and amazing smells. I had always loved cooking at home, but this was different. This was fast, loud, and serious. The restaurant opened at 11 in the morning, but I had to arrive much earlier. When I walked into the kitchen, I saw people moving quickly. Some were peeling potatoes. Others were chopping vegetables. A big man in a white jacket was giving orders. He was the head chef. Everyone listened to him carefully. He didn't cook much, but he controlled everything. I was told to stand near the back and watch. A sous chef came to me and gave me a bag of carrots. He told me to wash and chop them. I did not say anything. I just nodded and started. My hands were shaking. I was afraid I would make a mistake. The kitchen was very hot. There were many ovens, stoves, and pots. The air smelled like butter, onions, and fresh herbs. It made me hungry, even though I had just eaten. I kept my eyes on the cutting board. I tried to chop each carrot the same size. I wanted to do everything right. Later, I had to peel potatoes. At home, I used a small knife, but here they had a special tool. It was faster, but I had never used it before. I dropped one potato on the floor. My face turned red, but no one said anything. They were too busy. That made me feel better. Around noon, things got crazy. The waiters were shouting out orders. Plates were moving fast. Someone called out, "We're in the weeds." I didn't understand the phrase, but I could tell it meant something bad. People were moving even faster now. The chef was shouting for more onions, more sauce, more everything. I saw a fish being butchered and buttered. The sous chef was doing it quickly. He worked like a machine. I wanted to be like him one day, calm, focused, and skillful. But for now, I had to keep peeling, chopping, and learning. At the end of the day, I was tired. My feet hurt. My back hurt. But I felt proud. I didn't burn anything. I didn't cut myself. And I didn't cry when I chopped onions, even though my eyes were red. That night, I went home, washed my hands for 10 minutes, and ate a simple dinner. Bread and cheese. But it tasted better than ever. I thought about the restaurant, the chef, the team, the food. I smiled. This was only the beginning. The second day was harder than the first. I thought I knew what to expect, but I was wrong. The kitchen was a world of its own. Every person had a job. Every second mattered. Everything had to be fast and correct. I arrived early again. The head chef gave me a short look and then walked away. I understood that I was now part of the team, but I still had to prove myself. The sous chef gave me a list of tasks. Peel 20 potatoes. Chop 10 onions. Wash a big box of spinach. No talking. No wasting time. While I worked, I watched the others. They moved like dancers with rhythm and purpose. One person stirred a big pot. Another cleaned a piece of meat with care. Someone else placed butter on slices of bread, one by one. There was no shouting this early in the day, just quiet focus. I made a mistake with the onions. I cut them too big. The sous chef noticed. He didn't get angry. He just took one onion, showed me the right size, and pointed to the rest. I nodded. I cut them again, smaller this time. My eyes started to burn. Tears came, but I kept working. Later, the orders started coming in. The peace in the kitchen ended. People moved faster. The head chef raised his voice. He wasn't angry, just focused. He wanted everything perfect and fast. I understood this now. If one person was slow, the whole team suffered. Someone shouted, "We're running low on tomatoes." A young woman ran to the fridge. Another said, "The sauce is burning." A man grabbed the pot and stirred it quickly. I didn't know what to do, so I kept chopping, peeling, and helping when someone asked. Suddenly, a plate dropped. It broke into pieces. Everyone froze for 1 second. Then they kept moving. A mistake in the kitchen was bad, but stopping was worse. I remembered this. I was asked to clean the fish next. I had never butchered a fish before. I watched the sous chef do one first. Then I tried. My hands were slow and clumsy, but I finished. It wasn't perfect, but it was clean. That felt like a small victory. By the end of the day, my apron was dirty. My hands smelled like garlic. My arms were sore, but I had learned many things. Not just how to chop or stir, but how to think like a cook. Be fast. Be quiet. Be ready. Watch everything. That night, I walked home slowly. My body was tired, but my mind was full. I thought about the rules I was learning, not written on a wall, but shown in action. In this kitchen, time, order, and respect were everything. I fell asleep quickly, and before I closed my eyes, I whispered to myself, one day I will belong in that kitchen. On my third day, I felt different. I wasn't confident yet, but I was less afraid. I knew where the knives were. I knew how to wear my apron correctly. I knew who to follow and who to stay away from when they were busy. I was starting to understand how a kitchen breathes. That day started like the others. Quiet, fast, and focused. I was told to prepare vegetables again. Carrots, onions, potatoes, peppers. I moved faster than before. I remembered to keep my fingers safe and to chop evenly. The sous chef checked my work and gave me a small nod. That made me proud. It was the first sign that I was doing something right. After that, I cleaned mushrooms. It was slow work because mushrooms are delicate. You can't wash them like potatoes. You must wipe each one gently. Some cooks think this part is boring, but I enjoyed it. It gave me time to think. As lunch hour came, the kitchen changed again. The quiet disappeared. Orders came in faster. The printers beeped loudly. I heard the head chef's voice more often. He gave clear commands, and people answered without wasting a second. I was ready this time. I didn't panic. I listened and worked. Then something unexpected happened. The sous chef told me to make a simple salad. Just one plate. I froze for a second. This was my first time making something alone. It wasn't much, just lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, olive oil, salt, and a little lemon. But still it was a dish. A real dish for a real customer. I washed my hands again, cleaned the vegetables, and made the salad. I placed each item carefully on the plate. I wiped the edges of the plate clean, like I had seen others do. I took a deep breath and handed it to the sous chef. He said nothing, but he didn't fix anything either. That was a win. Later, I heard someone say the salad looked good. I didn't say anything, but inside I smiled. I was finally part of something, even if it was small. That afternoon, I helped stir the big soup pot. It was hot and heavy, and I had to use a long wooden spoon. The soup smelled like garlic, herbs, and chicken. As I stirred, I thought about the word stir. It sounded like start. Maybe this was the start of something new for me. The pressure never stopped that day. A waiter said a table was waiting too long. A cook dropped a pan of rice. The chef shouted. People rushed. But I didn't feel lost. I stayed calm. I stayed useful. When service ended, the kitchen became quiet again. People cleaned their stations. Some joked with each other. I washed my knife, wiped my board, and took a moment to look around. I had survived another day. And this time, I didn't just survive, I had contributed. That night, I walked home under a sky full of stars. I was tired, but a good kind of tired. The kind that comes after doing something real. Something that matters. I was still learning. I still had a long way to go. But the pressure was beginning to feel normal. The kitchen was no longer a mystery. It was starting to feel like home. The fourth day started with dark clouds outside. I remember the sky was gray, and the air smelled like rain. Inside the kitchen, It was the same as always, bright, warm, and busy. But something felt different. People were moving faster. The head chef looked serious, more serious than usual. I found out why a few minutes later. A food critic was coming that evening. Someone important. Someone who would write about our food in a magazine. If the review was good, more people would come. If it was bad, business could suffer. The pressure was higher than ever. I was told to help prepare ingredients for the evening. That meant extra potatoes to peel, extra carrots to chop, and lots of garlic to mince. Every vegetable had to be perfect. No brown spots. No mistakes. The sous chef gave instructions quickly. He didn't smile today. No one did. I focused harder than ever. My hands moved faster but carefully. I wiped my board after every task. I cleaned my knife after every job. I wanted to be invisible, helpful, but not in the way. As the evening came closer, the kitchen grew louder. More people arrived. Special ingredients were taken out of the cold room. Fresh herbs, fine cheese, good cuts of meat. I had never seen some of these items before. They smelled strong and expensive. It felt like a storm was coming, not from the sky, but inside the kitchen. Then everything began. The first orders came fast. Then more. Then more. Plates were flying from one station to another. The chef's voice was everywhere. Faster. Check the seasoning. Where is the sauce? I stayed in my corner, doing whatever was asked. Bring clean plates. Wash herbs. Stir the soup. Peel more potatoes. The kitchen was hot, louder than ever, and filled with strong smells. Butter, garlic, fish, wine. I could hear my heart beating. Sweat rolled down my back, but I didn't stop. Then the worst happened. One of the ovens broke. The temperature dropped. A dish came back undercooked. The chef was angry. He didn't yell at anyone directly, but everyone could feel the tension. People moved faster, trying to fix the problem. I was asked to run to the cellar and bring more wine. I had never been there before. I went quickly, found the bottles, and returned just in time. My hands were shaking, but I didn't drop anything. Later, someone slipped and almost fell. A hot pan was knocked over. The oil splashed, but no one was burned. Still, everyone was more careful after that. Finally, it was over. The last order went out. The critic had eaten. No one knew what he thought, but the plate came back empty. That was a good sign. The chef stood in silence for a moment. Then he looked around. His face was calm again. People began to breathe normally. Some smiled. Some sat down. I stood near the wall, not sure what to do. I was exhausted but proud. We had survived the storm. That night, the rain finally started. As I walked home, the streets were wet and quiet. I looked at my hands. They were sore, but stronger than before. I had not cooked a dish that night, but I had been part of something difficult, something that mattered. And in the middle of the chaos, I didn't break. I helped. I stayed calm. That night, I didn't just feel like a kitchen helper. I felt like a cook. It had been 1 week since I started working in the kitchen. Every day felt long but meaningful. I was no longer afraid of the noise, the heat, or the pressure. I had learned how to move quickly, how to stay quiet, and how to pay attention to everything at the same time. But today, something changed. The morning started like always. I arrived early, tied my apron, and began my prep work. I peeled vegetables, cleaned herbs, and washed dishes. The sous chef checked my work again. This time he gave me a short smile. Just for a second. That was new. Later, the head chef called for a team meeting. He told us that the weekend would be very busy. A famous group was coming to the restaurant, people with money, people who cared about food. The chef wanted something special on the menu. Not just good, not just beautiful. He wanted a dish with something different, something unforgettable. He said we needed a secret ingredient. That phrase stayed in my mind all day. While others talked about sauces and spices, I continued my small jobs. I chopped onions, stirred sauces, and carried trays. But I kept thinking about the secret ingredient. What made a dish unforgettable? Was it the flavor, the texture, the smell? I remembered a soup my grandmother used to make. It was simple, just lentils, garlic, and a few herbs. But it was warm and full of love. That soup always made me feel safe. Maybe love was the real secret ingredient. But love wasn't something you could measure with a spoon. After lunch, I was asked to help in the herb garden behind the restaurant. It was small but full of green life. Basil, thyme, mint, parsley. The air smelled fresh and earthy. I was told to pick only the best leaves. Not too big, not too small. I took my time. I touched each leaf gently as if it were special. When I returned to the kitchen, the chef was testing new ideas. I watched him mix sauces, taste them, and shake his head. He looked tired but focused. He wanted something more. Then I saw him try something new. He took a small leaf from the herbs I had picked. Just one. He added it to a creamy sauce and stirred. Then he tasted it. This time he nodded. He called the others and let them taste it. They agreed. That little change made a big difference. It gave the sauce a fresh, surprising flavor. It was the secret ingredient he had been searching for. No one said it out loud, but I knew that leaf had come from my basket. That evening, the sauce became part of the special dish. The customers loved it. I didn't tell anyone it was my herb. I didn't need to. Just knowing was enough. At the end of the shift, I stood outside the kitchen, breathing in the night air. The wind was cool. The stars were bright. I felt something new inside me, quiet confidence. I had not cooked the dish. I had not created the recipe, but I had contributed something small that made a big impact. I learned something important that day. The secret ingredient is not always a spice or a sauce. Sometimes it is care. Sometimes it is patience. And sometimes it is the small effort no one sees but everyone tastes. The 6th day began like any other. I was tired but ready. My body was slowly getting used to the early mornings, the long hours, and the standing. My hands had small cuts. My feet hurt less than before. I felt like I belonged at least a little more. The head chef was in a good mood that morning. He even made a joke during prep time and people laughed. The kitchen felt lighter, like everyone could breathe. It was the kind of day that gave me hope. Maybe this job would get easier. But I was wrong. That day, I made my first big mistake. During lunch prep, I was asked to help on the line. The line is where the main cooking happens. It's hot, crowded, and intense. Every plate comes through the line. Every second counts. The sous chef told me to prepare a tray of vegetables for roasting. I had done it before, but never on the line. I wanted to do everything fast, maybe too fast. I cleaned the vegetables quickly. I chopped them into small pieces. I mixed them with oil, salt, and herbs. Then I placed the tray in the oven and set the timer. I went back to peeling potatoes, but in the rush, I forgot to double-check the oven temperature. It was too high, much too high. 15 minutes later, I smelled something wrong. Not burnt yet, but close. I opened the oven and saw the vegetables were too dark. Some were dry. Some were almost black. They couldn't be used. My heart dropped. I took the tray out and showed the sous chef. He said nothing at first, just looked at the tray. Then he sighed and walked away. That was worse than shouting. I felt cold inside. Everyone was busy, so no one paid much attention, but I knew I had failed. I threw the vegetables away and started over. This time I moved slower. I watched the temperature. I checked the timer twice. The second tray came out perfect, but it didn't feel like a success. The rest of the day, I couldn't stop thinking about that mistake. It followed me like a shadow. When I stirred soup, I remembered the burned tray. When I chopped garlic, I heard the sound of the oven door. I felt small, weak, like maybe I didn't belong in this kitchen after all. But something changed near the end of the shift. The sous chef came over. He looked at the second tray of vegetables. He said nothing, just gave a short nod again. Then he handed me a clean tray and pointed at a new task. That small gesture told me something. I had failed, yes, but I had also fixed it. I didn't quit. I didn't make excuses. I just corrected my mistake. I realized then that making a mistake didn't mean the end. What mattered was what I did after. That was how cooks grow. That's how trust is built. That night, I walked home slower than usual. Not because I was tired, but because I was thinking. I had faced failure and kept going. I had stayed in the fire, even when it hurt. Now, I understood something deeper. The kitchen doesn't expect you to be perfect. It expects you to care, to learn, and to come back stronger. And I did. By the 7th day, I had become a shadow in the kitchen. Always moving, always watching, never in the way. I was no longer told what to do every minute. People trusted that I knew. I cleaned. I chopped. I stirred. I ran to the cellar without being asked. I wiped counters before anyone noticed they were dirty. It felt good to be useful. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest. But I was becoming dependable. That morning, the chef assigned me to the cold station. This was where salads, dressings, and cold dishes were prepared. It wasn't as hot or stressful as the grill or the oven, but it was important. Every dish had to look beautiful, clean, and fresh. It was a test of care. The station was quiet at first. I arranged leaves, sliced vegetables, and sprinkled herbs. I used a small spoon to place sauces just right. A plate wasn't finished until it looked like art. I took my time. I breathed slower. This kind of work felt like painting with food. Later in the day, a group of customers arrived. They had called ahead and asked for vegetarian dishes. This meant extra salads, roasted vegetables, and other items from the cold station. The chef looked at me and said nothing, but I knew. This was my responsibility. I worked calmly. I remembered everything I had learned: balance, timing, cleanliness. Each plate had to be perfect, not only in taste, but in color, shape, and order. I made the first plate, then the second, then the third. Each one looked like the last, consistent and careful. I wiped the edge of every plate. I checked the seasoning. I didn't rush. The chef passed by once. He looked at the plates, then walked on. No words, no corrections, but he didn't stop me either. That meant I was doing it right. When the plates were sent out, I stood still for a moment. My hands were shaking slightly, not from fear, but from focus. I waited. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The plates came back clean. Not one leaf left behind. A waiter came back and said something simple. They liked it. That was it. No big applause. No high five. Just quiet words. But for me, it was a victory. I didn't smile. Not outside. But inside, I felt proud. No one had helped me. No one had fixed my work. The food had been mine, from the first slice to the final sprinkle. It had reached someone's table, and they had enjoyed it. That evening, while cleaning my station, I found a single basil leaf that had fallen on the floor. I picked it up and held it in my hand for a moment. It reminded me of the herb I picked on the day of the secret ingredient. So many small things had changed in just 1 week. My hands were stronger. My eyes were sharper. My steps were lighter. And inside me, something had grown. A quiet confidence built from small successes. I no longer needed someone to tell me I belonged. I could feel it. That night, I didn't walk home in silence. I hummed a little tune. The streets were still busy, but I didn't notice. In my mind, I was still in the kitchen, arranging lettuce, watching oil shine under the light, building plates that told a story. And that story was mine. My 8th day began with a surprise. As I walked into the kitchen, the head chef was already there, standing near the back with his arms crossed. The sous chef and a few others were setting up. Everything felt normal, but something was different inside me. Today was my last shift. Not forever, but for now. I had only joined the restaurant for 1 week of training, a trial period, a chance to see if I could handle the work, the pressure, and the life. Today would decide everything. I felt nervous again, just like on my first day. But this time, I wasn't afraid of the knives or the noise. I was only afraid of leaving. The chef didn't say much. He gave out tasks as usual. I was assigned to the prep table, then the soup station, and finally back to the cold line. It was a full day of work, and I did it all with care. No mistakes, no delays. I remembered every lesson. I peeled carefully. I chopped quickly. I stirred gently. I tasted everything before sending it out. I helped others when I could. I didn't ask many questions anymore. I simply watched, listened, and acted. At lunch, the chef came by again. He looked at the dishes on the counter. He said nothing, just gave that small nod I had come to recognize. It meant more than words. Later in the afternoon, the oven broke again. This time I didn't panic. I helped move dishes to the other side of the kitchen. I found an extra tray before anyone asked. I even showed a newer cook how to adjust the heat. I realized something in that moment. I was no longer just learning. I was also teaching. When the dinner service began, I worked faster than ever, but not in a rush. My hands knew what to do. My eyes saw small mistakes before they became big ones. My ears listened for the chef's voice, ready to respond. The kitchen felt like music, and I was playing my part. The last order of the night came in. It was a special dish, one the chef had created himself. The plate was complicated. Everyone worked together, cutting, stirring, plating, finishing. I was part of it too, a team effort. The plate went out. Then silence. The chef stood near the door to the dining room. A waiter returned. I couldn't hear what was said, but the chef smiled, a rare smile. Then he turned, looked at the kitchen, and gave us all a slow clap. Just once. Everyone smiled quietly and went back to cleaning. I stood at my station, wiping the counters, washing my tools. It was my last time doing this for now. But I didn't feel sad. I felt full. Not from food, but from experience. Before leaving, I walked up to the sous chef. He handed me a clean apron, folded neatly. A simple gift. I held it in both hands and nodded. No words were needed. Then I turned to leave the kitchen. Outside, the night air was cool. The streets were quiet. I looked back once at the warm yellow light from the kitchen window. I knew I would return, maybe not tomorrow or next week, but someday. Because I had found something special there. In that small, hot, noisy kitchen, I had found strength. I had learned to fail and to try again. I had learned to listen before speaking. I had learned that even the smallest task, when done with care, could become part of something beautiful. And most of all, I had learned who I was becoming. Not just a cook, but a part of the kitchen.
See you next time, and happy learning from all of us at English Smart Podcast.